Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of This Week in Karting on the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. Episode number 4, one of our newest podcasts here on the EKN Radio Network. It's Friday, December 21st. Almost getting ready to roll into the Christmas holidays. Of course, David Cole and I would want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and, of course, a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to all of you tuning in here on EKN Radio. David, it's a more of a relaxed day for me. We're obviously trying to do whatever we can to get things done and wrapped up, and one more podcast done to cap off the year here on EKN Radio. But you got the kids, bro. It's Friday, and they're going to be coming in the door jacked up on Mountain Dew in a couple hours, are they not?
Mountain Dew, candy, sugar cookies, not to mention the cookies we're making later today, and it's just it's chaos.
You know what? I feel horrible for you because this weekend I got to work a bit this weekend. I'm going to watch a bit of football, but I might sleep in, I think, most of the days. How about you?
Have you not seen the SNL skit of Family Christmas with Matt Damon?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was good.
That sums up Christmas with kids to a T. To a T.
Oh, dude, I'll be thinking.
Not to mention in-laws. You know, I have some great in-laws, but yeah, sometimes you just have that feeling with family members coming over and calling out racist things, and yeah, it's just insane.
Best of luck to all our EKN Nation, all the families that are going to roll into Christmas and have everyone over, and of course, Christmas morning is obviously a lot of fun, but we know that the parents like David Cole and Renee are going to be exhausted, of course, at the end of the 25th. Dave, let's wrap things up because there have been a lot of things going on, and that's why we'll kind of cap off the year here with one more issue of This Week in Karting. Before we jump in, Dave, podcast number 53 for us this year. That's pretty solid. We knocked out some good content this year. 53rd podcast
Hold on,
of the
who
year.
counted that? Did you count that?
Dude, I have a full spreadsheet. I know. I have a full spreadsheet.
Are you sure it's 53 for the year, not total?
53 for the year, David.
Remember, we did stuff in 2017. I want to make sure you're on point with this.
Well, hold on. We did an Operation Grassroots that we taped on a record. I keep saying taped, and people make fun of me because we don't tape anything anymore. I show my age. We recorded an Operation Grassroots on December the 21st of 2017, but I don't think it aired until the start of 2019 or 2018. So 53 podcasts.
Is that available on vinyl too?
Dude, vinyl's coming back. You know it is. Vinyl's the best. Rich sound, my friend. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have some vinyl of our best of our greatest hits from the EKN.
Well, there you go. Hold on. Now that we're at Christmas, what's your best Christmas vinyl album that you used to listen to or still do?
Well, I'm Canadian, so I've got Bob and Doug McKenzie's Christmas.
On vinyl?
On vinyl. Of course I have it on vinyl. Take off. You know what? Honestly, I don't have a lot. I have one that my grandmother gave me. And my mom gave me. It's Elvis Presley. An old school Elvis Presley Christmas album. Pretty badass.
Well, thank you.
It's pretty badass, man. He was the king. All right.
See, my family was Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. All right.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good Christmas album.
I hear you on that. That's good. Good stuff. All right, folks, let's talk about some stuff. We got a lot going on here. So This Week in Karting, 53rd podcast of the year. David, over the past week, obviously the biggest news to hit, and it came out after we were kind of done for the evening. You were finished up. I jumped on it to get it on the website. Biggest news really was national number 1 driver in the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour, Ryan Norberg, our national number 1 ranked in the EKN driver rankings. He and PSL Karting parting ways after the Super Nats. PSL issuing their press release stated that they parted ways with Ryan. I don't think obviously major news, but I think I kind of took Ryan off guard as well. I think he knew about it before the podcast came out, or rather the press release came out. We did a podcast with him afterwards. That's pretty big news in the sport to see a national number 1 part from his team. Not too far after the same thing happened with AJ Myers, the pro shifter champion on the Pro Tour. He ended up parting ways with TB Kart USA. So, man, you think if you win a championship, you're pretty locked in your seat. Apparently not.
Well, you keep using the word parting ways, and I don't think they were parting ways. I think with Norberg, he was released.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, he was released. The the Myers and TB Kart, I think it's the same situation where I think TB Kart said, okay, it's time to let you go. So yeah, it's not a mutual thing. I don't think for either parties, in both the Norberg case and Myers case.
Agreed.
And, that's so now it leads, as you said, it leads to, okay, where is Norberg going? We know now Myers has found a home with Mad Old Nut Racing and Croc Promotion Racing USA. Obviously showing well at Supernats with that new combination, placing second behind Musgrave. But, where is Norberg going to land?
Yeah.
And is it going to happen at Daytona? Are we going to see him in Daytona? Or is it going to be, the one of the Florida races that we go to in January?
Well, I did the Hot Seat podcast with him, and he was kind of aloof, didn't want to say too much, but he knew that, man, that was one of the issues. It was obviously dropped late, in the mid to late December. Man, there's not a lot of time to hook up with another team, but the minute it happened, he told me the phone started ringing off the hook. People were calling. There was text messages. People were contacting me saying, hey, how do I get a hold of Ryan? It'll be interesting to find out where he does land. I can't see him showing up at Daytona, but man, stranger things have happened. Maybe he rolls into Daytona and with a new team with some new colors, and we'll see what happens. But a lot of speculation, of course, where Ryan Norberg will land after the split from PSL Karting. We did the Hot Seat podcast. We'll make sure it gets played throughout the weekend, throughout the Christmas holidays. We'll jam it in there if we can. And I think, David, you'll probably get the podcast lined up pretty soon to get it on iTunes as well. Do you have the plan to do that in the near future?
Yeah, the podcast will be posted probably the day after Christmas. I think we're going to put up a bunch of podcasts on that day. We'd like to get them up sooner, but obviously we're running them through the radio network first. So we should have a bunch of the podcasts available on the 26th.
As always, folks, that's the way that we approach our online content here, the radio content. The first opportunity to hear any of our new shows, any of the podcasts, whether it's a debrief, a hot seat, industry insider, one of our bookets, all of those coming first, streaming on the EKN radio network. Once we do that for a couple of days, David preps it up for podcast, and at that point, available on iTunes, Google Play, and of course, ekartingnews.com/podcast. So again, moving on to the next bit that landed on the EKN homepage over the last week. Again, this is the 4th episode of This Week in Karting, our final podcast of the 2018 season. David, you spent some time working on your EKN Constructors Championship spreadsheet, throwing the results in, breaking everything down, and really probably not surprising after you calculated the results of 39 different national and regional events around the country. Tony Kart topping the charts again for the 8th straight season. They obviously have a lot of drivers who are fully leveraging their really good hold on market share in terms of drivers running on the national level and regional level. They end up with a big win, but there were some pretty interesting, evolutions, guys moving forward, our teams and manufacturers moving up the list, because obviously we're seeing certain brands kind of step to the forefront, especially here in 2018.
Yeah, Tony Kart's had a stranglehold on junior, senior, and master competition. A lot of it is due to the single speed categories. I think we see a more diverse chassis list in the shifter categories, including like Aluminos and CRG and other models as well. But OTK holding 3 of the top 5 positions, with Cosmic in second, FA Kart in 4th. Cosmic with a lot of Rollison Performance Group results through Pro Tour and other events throughout the season. FA Kart, a number of privateers that are on the FA Kart rather than on a Tony Kart or Cosmic. Comet Kart Sales is one of those shops that pushes out the FA Kart a lot. So we see a lot of racers in those 3 brands throughout the season, and really, gives OTK a good stranglehold of the market share really in North America and United States.
Obviously, Burrell Art in there as well with PSL Karting and Prime Power Team with Ryan Norberg and Ryan McDermott, the young Canadian. Kart Republic rolling into 5th to debut their first year on the EKN Constructors Championship. Of course, Kart Sport North America, the importer of the Kart Republic chassis, and Brandon Jarsakrak, so strong in the SKUSA Winter Series. Lorenzo Travasanuto running at the Winter Series as well through WK Manufacturers Cup, USPKS, the SKUSA Pro Tour. Jarsakrak doing a lot of heavy lifting for Kart Sport North America. Now, David, you'll find this interesting. I haven't talked to you about this yet, but I was chatting with Mike Smith from Cal Speed Karting online yesterday, and he was really intrigued reading through the Constructors Championship. And he asked me, and you kind of just mentioned it there, and I love the idea. He said, what do you guys think about doing a follow-up article to kind of break it down a little bit? Because you said it. The Tony Karts in single speed really strong. You see the CRGs and the Aluminos really strong in shifter. And then, of course, you go to the cadet categories, and it's all, nitro karts, Benic, Parallel. There's different chassis and different groups. That I think would be a cool follow-up article to kind of say, hey, here's the guys that are front running in single speed. Here's the guys that are front running in gearbox, and here's the kind of front runners in cadet. That's I think would be a really interesting article, cross section, to see who's strong in which area.
Well, we kind of broke down by the different series that we go to. So if you're looking to see who's strong in WKA, you can go. Our standings show that. So we broke it down by series. And I was going to mention that. Only a couple years ago did we add the cadet, which is just mini age group. It doesn't include micro, so nothing below 10 years and younger. So not including kid karts, not including micro. So it's only the mini, or say a sportsman category that includes 12 years old and stuff like that. You're breaking down by classes. It's something we can look at probably in the future for sure. Again, our program is based on a class having 10 drivers in that class. If that class does not have 10 drivers, such as, you look at the Pro Tour, S4 didn't have 10 drivers all season long. So Ricardo and Burrell Art and CRG lost points throughout the season in that category. So, it's something we have it broken down by class throughout the year. It again takes time to kind of look at that more closely.
Yeah, and time is not something that David has right now. We're pretty flat out, of course, working our way into the 2019 season, getting dialed in with all of our e-karting news advertising partners. Big thank you, of course, to them, man. If you're a follower of what we do on ECAN, you like what we do, if you love listening to the ECAN radio network, do us a favor. If you're making a decision to buy a product, choose one of the companies that support ekartingnews.com, because without them, we wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be a radio network. There wouldn't be anything that we do. So a big thank you to all of the advertisers in the industry that support ekartingnews.com. So, David, one more bit here in our first segment. CRG Nordam making a move. Of course, this news coming in from CRG. We got it on the homepage on ekartingnews.com and pushed out on our social media as well, as we do with all of our primary news. CRG adding Tony Tesoro as the team manager. He's going to move into the race team manager role, going to develop dealer networks with the racing sector, and also going to start promoting the CRG rental kart line. Tony has obviously been around the sport a long time. His son used to race as well, but Tony's just a fixture at all these races as a mechanic, engine technician. I like the move for CRG Nordam, putting him into a pretty strong role.
Yeah, it's not an unfamiliar role, as he has run his own team before. And he's really found a home with CRG Nordam, working with Tyler Maxon and some other drivers throughout the season. So I think it's a good fit for both. Tony, as you said, brings a lot of experience into the position, and it gives Ewan and Tanini, a good person to keep the ship running straight when you're back home and on the other side of the Atlantic. So it's a good win. It's a good fit, and looking forward to seeing again. We saw throughout the season, they keep expanding and adding more names and drivers to their roster. So it's definitely a continually growing program, and we see a lot of outdoor and indoor tracks adding the CRG brand to their product line.
Yeah, Speedway Indoor Karting, of course, Sarah Fisher's program, and they're going to probably add CRGs as well to Whiteland Raceway Park, which they purchased. They got brand new karts coming at the Speedway Indoor Karting right there in Speedway, Indiana, in the shadow of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But you're right. Obviously, the captain of the ship over at CRG Nordam, Ewan Jeffrey, does go back and forth between the factory. CRG Nordam is a direct factory team based in Texas, but working directly with Italy. And again, good to see Tony Tesoro joining them. And while we have this opportunity, Ewan Jeffrey, happy birthday to him on December the 24th, Christmas Eve. Happy birthday for Ewan Jeffrey. All right, let's jump into a quick break, folks. This is episode number 4 of This Week in Karting on the EKN Radio Network. Myself, Rob Howden, and David Cole back after this quick break.
Hello, karting fans. This is Andy Saisman, and you are locked in to the EKN Radio Network.
As a world leader in personal racing safety products with a sales and service staff and dealer network unmatched in motorsports, Simpson Performance Products is now the official North American distributor for Stilo helmets. In addition to their wildly popular auto racing helmets, Stilo is extremely excited to have made their move into the karting community with a pair of stellar options. Stilo has 2 helmets designed and manufactured specifically for karting: the Stilo ST5 CMR 2016 for kids, and the Stilo ST5 Kart Snell K 2015 adult karting helmet. The company's karting helmets are directly derived from Stilo's auto racing helmets that are so popular at the top levels of racing. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, as well as Stilo's lightweight construction and unparalleled field of vision, a crucial attribute for karting. For more information on Stilo, check them out at simpsonperformanceproducts.com/Stilo or by following them on social media at Stilo USA.
Fresh off of 2 USPKS Drivers National Championships and the Team Championship, Nitro Kart has some very exciting news for the youngest racers just getting started. The all-new Nitro Kart Kid Kart. Now, beginning racers can enjoy the same kind of championship-winning performance as cadet kart drivers. Designed in the USA and manufactured in Italy, the Nitro Kart Kid Kart features the same premium quality and engineering you've come to expect from Nitro Kart. Kid karts are in stock now, so order yours today.
Hi, this is Hayden Jones, Team Nitro Kart driver number 716 in KA100 Junior and X30 Junior. I just won my first national event, and I couldn't have done it without Nitro Kart's support. Nitro Kart has a few arrive and drive spots open for the cadet classes at SCUSA Supernats. They helped me win, and they'll help you too. For details, contact Nick Tucker at 704-818-7868. Look forward to seeing you at the track.
Now let's hear what the experts have to say about Nitro Kart.
Nitro Kart! Race one or chase one!
The new year is upon us, and the Challenge of the Americas is the place to kick off 2019 as the premier winter karting series on the left coast. The program is entering its 12th season under the guidance of industry leader Andy Saisman and his fantastic series officials, promoting fun, exciting, and competitive racing throughout the winter months. The Challenge of the Americas is an official Rock Cup USA program, featuring all 7 of the categories from Micro Rock to Rock Shifter Senior. And they also have Rock Cup International Finals tickets to award to the series champions. Add in the new Tag 100cc Senior and Masters classes, all utilizing the Bridgestone tire, and the season is sure to be an exciting one. Prizes are awarded each weekend, along with entries to the Rock the Rio event in Las Vegas at the end of October. The series begins at Cal Speed Karting Center on February 8th, 9th, and 10th, before heading to Arizona and the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson on March 8th, 9th, and 10th as well. The championships will be decided once again as the program heads north to the Sim Raceway Performance Karting Center in Sonoma on April 5th, 6th, and 7th. Head over to challengekarting.com to learn more and to register today for the opening round for the entire series. It's time, the Challenge of the Americas, so let's rock.
Hello, karting fans. This is JH Motorsports, and you're locked into EKN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, episode number 4 of This Week in Karting, where we highlight all the major news that hit the homepage on ekartingnews.com. David Cole, of course, handling the news desk. Everything that rolls in, he filters, gets ready to prep, and gets it out up on the website and, of course, out on social media for you. David, some cool news. Franklin Motorsports firming up their 2019 lineup. Tommy back with Merlin. Going to be his first full year in senior with Team FMS. Placed third in the USPKS X30 Junior Championship last year. And in addition, we're bringing Brandon Lemke back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Lemke back home with Franklin Motorsports and Team FMS and the Merlin brand. Something we saw at the Summer Nats this year. And I think, Siraki just really likes working with Brandon. Obviously has been with him through cadet and junior and senior level competition. And Lemke's obviously still working in the stock car ranks and trying to promote himself through that. But on those off weekends, why not put Lemke back in the kart? And again, like as the press release stated, working with the younger drivers that Siraki does have under the tent. Again, he gets a good crop of cadet drivers that he likes to bring up from the young age and bring them all the way up through the program. So Lemke's a good person to have involved in that.
Yeah, the whole Franklin Motorsports Merlin Nation deal, man, just always so strong. Everywhere we go, they've got these great young kids coming up, whether it's in the micro and mini categories, into junior, and of course in the senior classes as well. Dave, talk a little bit about Kyle Tommy a bit, because you really get a chance to watch him, covering the USPKS like you do. What are your thoughts on him moving into his first season of senior?
I think he'll stand out right away. He, as the release said, over the last couple of years, he had his growth spurt that just made him big. I mean, not wide, but tall. And so again, some of the junior drivers struggle with that growth spurt. Jeremy Fairburn was able to utilize his height to his advantage, and Tommy wasn't quite there yet, but just weight wise, just couldn't keep it down to where the weight was for junior racing. So it was tough battling the younger kids at 20 pound disadvantage. So I think senior, moving up to senior shouldn't be a problem. He's already done that a few races already, and shown pretty well at the Route 66 regional area, our series. And so again, working with Lemke, working alongside him and having Siraki, I think he'll jump right in and be able, he'll obviously be fast right away. It's just, it's that racecraft, moving up to the senior level.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see what happens, because Franklin Motorsports heading down to WK Kart Week in Daytona next week. So we'll see what both Lemke and Tommy can do. Moving on to more news that hit the streets here. Again, this is a This Week in Karting podcast on the EKN Radio Network. North Texas Karters, the track in Denton, Texas, just north of Dallas, have really kicked things up for a winter series. A $40,000 purse. $50 entry fee, but $500 for first, $300 for second, $200 for third. It's a 4-race series. All the categories racing for $500 to win. You have to have at least 5 drivers in the class to get the payout, but pretty impressive. 4-race series, as I said. A couple races in January, 2 in February. January 12th and January 26th. February 9th and February 23rd. Those are the 4 races. Categories for kid karts, micro and mini Swift, X30 Junior and Tag Senior, so opening up to Tag, not just X30. In 206, they've got Junior 1 and Junior 2. They've got Senior and Heavy, and they'll have a 125cc stock shifter class as well. Maxwell Paper Products, the sponsor of the program, and man, Dave, $40,000 kicked up, $500 to win in all of the races. That's pretty impressive. I like to see NTK digging hard on it.
Yeah, it's one of the more historic tracks and clubs that we do have here in the United States. Obviously, being in the state of Texas, it's a lot easier for them to race all year round, which I'm kind of jealous about. So, but again, right. the regular season hasn't really started, so why not, get people out at the club track and having a good time and thankfully they're able to bring in Maxwell and provide a solid purse for people to come out and to race at Denton.
I really hope that people step up to support it. Obviously, there's some great racing going on down in Texas. We'll talk more about the Texas Sprint Series as well. But yeah, a lot of great racing down there. Denton, just one of those tracks that's been around for so long. Awesome club track, great racing. Hopefully, they'll see a lot of people that will step up and get there, get into that track, get into that club, and run these events, try to make a bit of money. Dave, let's cap off this section of This Week in Karting and talk about the 24 Hours of Orlando, that new 24-hour event at the Orlando Kart Center scheduled to go on March 29th, 30th, and 31st. This is an event I wish I could go down to. I would love to be part of it. It sounds like a lot of fun. The concept is to try to kind of build an event similar to the famed Granja 500 down in Brazil. They've got 17 teams already committed to this program, but they just signed a title sponsor, which I think is really cool. Simcraft. The motion simulators, Simcraft Motion Simulator, signing on as the title sponsor of the 24 Hours of Orlando. They're going to just call it the Simcraft 24. But man, I think it sounds like they're going to have a couple of their Simcrafts down there, a couple of their simulators trackside. That's going to be tough if you're a 24-hour driver. You're going to want to be in the simulator the whole time. You got to sleep sooner or later.
Well, it could be a good way to get your muscles, woken up. Get them loose. Idea. So you go in the simulator for a couple minutes, 10 minutes, just to get loose, and then you hop right in the cart and do a 2-hour stint. So nothing too hard there. But the endurance thing is something that's seemed to be really popular in the Southeast. Obviously you have that endurance karting program as well too, but this is more towards Briggs. This is surrounding the Briggs 206 power plant with regular competition karts instead of rental karts that you typically see in some of these endurance racing events. But so Simcraft has a team that's going to be part of the event too. And typically we've seen Jordan and Ricky Taylor and some other sports car or open wheel car drivers being part of that. So it should be, this isn't just your rinky dink type event. I mean, there's going to be some shoes racing in this event. I mean, we could even see maybe some of the Barrichello family in there. You never know, being in Orlando.
True enough. And so it's going to happen at Orlando Karting Center. So you have a top level facility. So just to give you some insight on the 24 Hours of Orlando, or the Simcraft 24, if you don't know yet, it's, again, as David said, it's a 206 program. So when you enter, you get a 206 engine that you get to keep. The team gets to keep the engine, but everybody gets a fresh engine. The crew at the event, the promoters, will break all the engines in, so they'll be ready to go. You can either bring your own cart, because I believe the tires are part of the entry.
Tires
as well.
are part of it. Fuel are part of it. Yep.
Fuel, that's right. So tires, fuel, and the engine, which you get to keep, are part of the entry. Yep. You can either bring your own cart to run, or they also have full on our Arrive and Drive program with Tony Karts based out of the Orlando Karting Center. So this is a race, like a race with race karts, not with rental karts, not with the kind of for hire pro karts. This is full on 206 4-cycle pro racing. This is an event. I'm glad it's getting some momentum right now, Dave. They've got 17 teams already. I'd like to see 30 or 40 before it's all said and done, but they've got great momentum. This is something I think will be a really cool addition to our sport if they're able to get this thing to grow some roots. And it sounds like they're off to a good start.
Yeah, the only downside to the weekend they chose is obviously I'll be at the WK event. So that kind of takes away the opportunities for others to get involved with this program. So hopefully maybe next year, the scheduling gods will help with everything and put this on a weekend where there is no racing.
All those open weekends.
Yeah, unfortunately, as we saw in my previous column, there's not very many open weekends on the eastern side.
So, folks, again, there it is, the 24 Hours of Orlando, now with a new sponsor. We'll just call it the Simcraft 24. It's going to be awesome. Let's have another quick break here, folks. When we get back, David and I got some SCUSA news to hit on. We're going to talk about the Texas Sprint Racing Series, and then we'll talk about the EKN podcast as well. Stick with us. More to come on this edition of This Week in Karting.
This is Jake French, and you are listening to the EKN Radio Network.
In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away and we ship daily. We're constantly adding new products to our online store, so keep checking back. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, and of course, our championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find molecule cleaning products, minus 273 racing gloves, micron gauges and components, and both MG and Bridgestone tires. If you're ready to take your racing to the next level, come and join us at Team FMS. We've been supplying racers with start-to-finish support at race events for many years, from providing a helping hand on a weekday test outing or at a club event, to full arrive and drive packages at the highest level of karting competition. For 2019, we'll be attending the SuperKarts USA Winter Series, WK Manufacturers Cup, United States Pro Kart Series, and the Route 66 Kart Racing Series. And we'd love to have you under our tent at Merlin Nation. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Are you done with the cold weather already? And are you ready for the 2019 season to get underway? If you're planning to race with SuperKarts USA next year, we have the answer. Spring training is only a few weeks away. The SCUSA Winter Series is back for its second season, and AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex is the place to be in January and February. The IAME SSE 175cc gearbox class will be making its debut in Pro and Master Shifter, and all the Pro Tour classes will be on the docket, including Micro and Mini Swift, KA100 Junior and Senior, and X30 Junior, Senior, and Master. The popular Briggs 206 Senior and Masters classes are back for 2019, so throw your cart in the back of the truck or into the trailer and escape the winter cold. Registration is open for the first round of the series, which will fire up the 2019 season on the January 11, 12, 13 weekend. You can get all the program's information on superkartsusa.com or register now at motorsportsreg.com.
This is Jim McKinney, and you're listening to EKN Radio Network 24/7.
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, another edition of This Week in Karting. David Cole and I breaking down some of the news that hit the EKN homepage over the last 7 to 10 days. David, a couple of bits coming for SuperKarts USA, of course, just a couple of weeks away from them kicking off their second running of the SCUSA Winter Series, 2 events held this year down at AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex. They'll go in 2 different directions in January and February. First bit of news, you and I both have probably our feelings on it. I'm not a big fan, but there's a lot of stuff going on in Europe in terms of the age limits for the junior and senior categories. SCUSA electing to do a trial of lowering the minimum age. They know they get a lot of international drivers coming over to run the Winter Series. So as a trial for the Winter Series, they're going to drop the minimum age for X30 Junior and KA100 Junior to 11 years of age, and X30 Senior and KA100 Senior to 14 years of age. David, I looked over I really read the press release a couple of times to get a good feel for it. Joe Janowski, director of competition, if you read between the lines, it was a kind of a thing where, man, they're doing it in Europe. We feel like we're almost hamstrung that we have to do it over here, but we're making sure that we could come back the other direction if we don't like it. And it feels like it's going to kind of be on a case-by-case basis. Personally, I would go the other direction and make you have to be 16 to be in senior. But then you mentioned, in talking about Kyle Tommy and Jeremy Fairburn, there's a lot of 14-year-old juniors that just can't make weight, even in the junior category. It's a tough 6 1/2 dozen of the other, but SCUSA kind of trying to fall in line a bit with European karting and dropping those age limits a little bit for junior and senior.
Well, there's a lot of different ways you can look at this, as you said. Excuse me. Weight being one of them. Not only for those drivers who are heavy, It's a good. It allows them the opportunity to move into the senior category. Yet they're not there age wise, but they are there weight wise. But you look at it on the flip side to where you have a 14-year-old that weighs 65 pounds. How is this kid going to move up to race, senior at 65 pounds when the cart itself is going to be 3 times his weight? So that's one way of looking at. The other way of looking at it, in terms of the junior category, same thing with weight, but you have experience, 11 years old and 15 years old, because some of them actually turned 15 during their last junior year. That's a lot of maturity difference between 11 and 15.
That's the big one.
So that's another way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is just your parents who just want to move their kids up no matter what. So there's a lot of talk of that going on in social media. Frankly, for me, I don't agree with it. I liked the 12 years old where it was for juniors, and I liked the 15-year-old where it was for seniors, because again, it still gave those matured kids who the ability to move up when they can. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, one of the things, and I agree with what you said there, and one of the things that I always say to any parent that I talk to, and I'll add my opinion in here. People that move their kids up before they become a top-level winning driver are doing their children a disservice. You need to let your son or daughter learn how to run up front. You need to let them learn how to win races. If they've moved to junior and they're finally into the top 10, they have one more year in junior, keep them in junior. Let them learn how to win. Let them learn how to take a lead, defend a lead, lose a lead, and go back at it. Let them learn how to battle for a championship. If they're finishing 10th place and you move them to senior, you're throwing them to the dogs. It doesn't make any sense. You've robbed them of an opportunity to learn, a crucial opportunity to learn, and that's learning how to win and learning how to, again, lead, lose the lead, take it back. In the interview I did with Ryan Norberg, and David, I'm sure you listened to it, one of the best things he said was the maturity that he had and developed when he was able to calm himself down. He was running second, gets pushed back to fifth. The instant deal is I got to get my spots back. But, Ryan at 20 years of age has that maturity where he says, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'll work forward. I'll run to the limit of my chassis. That's what you have to let your young driver develop. And I think if you're thinking about trying to move your kids to cars, all you need to look at is where the primary success has been over the last number of years. And it's kids that are 18, 19, and 20 years of age at the very first level, say F4 or the Mazda Road to Indy. If you're running in the Road to Indy in USF 2000, it's the Oliver Askew's, the Kyle Kirkwoods. Those are the kids. They're not 14, 15, 16. The guys that are the best coming into the opening levels of the Road to Indy or whatever it may be in entry-level racing, those are the guys that ran a couple, 2, 3 years of senior. It's in senior where you learn. You need to run senior a couple of years after you've learned to win in junior. That's my feeling.
Well, it's almost like, okay, well, let's just cap X30 at years 14 to 18. Once you turn 18, go pro shifter. I mean, it's because why are, like as you said, why are some of these guys at 22 and 23, why are they racing 14-year-olds?
Well, again, they don't want to race 14-year-olds. They want to race, right? But if you're a single speed guy, you're running an X30 senior, you're running a Rock senior, whatever it may be. You want to keep running until you're 25 years old, 30 years old, until you go to Masters. You're at the top of your game. Remember, the sport's not all about just Dave. You and I've talked about this. It's not about just moving people to cars. The sport is a sport in and of itself. You're a badass top level guy. The guy who's 20 doesn't want to race against a 14-year-old. But it's because of what's going on in the CIK and FIA that they're pushing for this to lower the limits so guys can get out into cars earlier. That's the issue, I believe.
Well, we need to change the Pro Tour to just SCUSA Tour because it's not professional when you're 14 years old. I mean, really. I mean, we don't see 14-year-olds racing Supercross in the 450. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. I hear you.
We don't see a 14-year-old racing IndyCar. We don't see that. It's we need a semi-pro. Really, is what we need too. We need.
There you go.
We need.
Well, you listen.
14 to 18 is semi-pro, and then anything above that is pro. And those are the guys that are going to race for the money.
Tom Kutcher and I talked about this a couple years ago, and there's only so much room on the schedule. And when there was S1 and S2 for Shifter, the pro and semi-pro stock Honda categories, he and I had a talk over beer one day, and it's like, why don't we have, at that point it was tag, it wasn't even X30. Why don't we have T1 and T2? Tag pro, tag semi-pro. And it's the guys that are 17 and up that run in the pro class, and 15 to 17 run in semi-pro. Right?
Well, we can't do that now because they've added K100 senior, K100 junior.
Yeah. But that's an option, right?
It's an option, but it's not the option that they're going with.
No, you're right.
They're becoming an IKF and WK based system where they have so many classes for people to run and not enough time in the day for people to actually enjoy an event anymore.
Well, we'll see how it all shakes down this year. Let's continue on with This Week in Karting.
Oh, I want to talk more about this.
Well, listen, you know what? I want to table it because this sounds like a really good roundtable. And that's going to be the new podcast, folks, that we're going to start in 2019, the roundtable. I like this. This should be our first topic. We'll talk about class structure, what we need to do. You and I will get a couple other people on the podcast here. We need to discuss this because I want to get more input and what people think about this, because it's obviously we're making a really fundamental shift in the platform and the structure of our sport when we're dropping down to 14-year-old kids running in senior, right?
So we need 2 parents, 2 race team managers, and maybe 2 promoters or 1 promoter, something like that.
Wow, that's big. That's a lot. Yeah, and maybe a driver, maybe a 18 to 20-year-old driver to get his feeling on it too.
Oh, you already know what they think.
True enough. Yeah. Hey, well, Norberg said straight up, he goes, there's some kids that I run against. He goes, there's some 20-year-olds I don't want to run against, but there's some 16-year-olds that have great racecraft. Right? It's the individual.
So it comes down to licensing.
Oh, dude. Okay. It's the podcast. You know what? This is This Week in Karting.
I'm teasing. It's called a teaser.
Not how we fix karting.
Oh, yeah. My bad. I thought that's the title.
No, it's This Week in Karting.
It's the last one, isn't it? It's our last one.
Dave, it's the news that came on eKarting News this week. Oh, you posted it all, right?
I did.
Table this.
I've already thought of all of this in my head, so I got to get it out.
And you know what it is? The frustration of Christmas is already coming. I can feel it in your voice.
That damn remote.
Dude, the kids are coming through the door in an hour or so, jacked up on sugar cookies.
Let's finish this up. I got things to do.
EK and listeners, we apologize for throwing you into this little debacle we got going here. More SCUSA news hitting the EKN homepage this past week. Couple new partners, David. Last year SuperKarts USA with the Winter Tour bringing in the 206 senior and masters category. They're going to do that again here this year, but they're hooking up with Ricer Racing. Rudy Ramzarup, who has been a player and really been part of the foundation of karting in Florida for about 25 years. Rudy and his Ricer Racing program. The South Florida Karting Club, which we've talked about, Mark Julian, we've interviewed him on the Operation Grassroots podcast, doing incredible things for 206 Racing down in South Florida. And in addition, AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex, Eric Jones, everybody down there, they've got together to support the Briggs 206 racers for the upcoming SCUSA Winter Series. They're going to kick in some dough to sponsor it a little bit. So the entry fee going to drop by essentially 50%. $450 entry fee for senior and master. That's Friday practice, Saturday racing, Sunday racing, and a set of Vinco tires. Kudos to those three operations for stepping up, saying we want to support 206 racing on the Winter Series. Gives a lot of exposure for it. But yeah, we'll be talking about Ricer Racing, the South Florida Car Club, and the track, AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex, all weekend long. That's just cool to see them step up.
Well, another reason why we can't have a semi X30 senior class is because of the Briggs class. But anyway,
in every class, it's just.
But anyway, classes. Yeah, no, right. It's the reason why Briggs is at the Winter Series is because of those partners that SCUSA is bringing on board. You know, it's really strong. Briggs and Stratton 206 Racing right now in South Florida, especially at the AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex. And I'm a little jealous because I would love to go down there not only to watch the racing, but I'd love to be part of of that category that's down there, because that, racing a Briggs at that track just looks like a lot of fun to do.
I love the track. I ran it back in the early 2000s at the Florida Winter Tour in my shifter. Man, I love that track, and yeah, I'm sure you'd love to be on track with it. But again, kudos to them for stepping up with the SCUSA Winter Series discounted entry package for those 206 drivers either in Florida or the guys north who want to get out of the cold and get their butts down and do some racing in South Florida. One of the other things that's hit over the last couple of months, to be honest, on EKN is this kind of rebirth for the International Kart Federation, the IKF. Starting a new essentially rebranding and connecting with the Can-Am Karting Challenge up in the Pacific Northwest. That's a new region for the IKF. They have actually officially named the KPX Championship in NorCal as an IKF region, and David now expanding to connect with the Texas Sprint Racing Series, which is the program that runs the Micro Mini Swift, X30 Junior, Senior, and Master, the K100 Junior, Senior, and Master, and LO206 Cadet, Junior 1, Junior 2, Senior, and Master. So essentially 206, K100, X30, and the Swift engines, along with Kid Karts, with the Texas Sprint Racing Series, now involved with the IKF. It's really cool to see the IKF kind of getting this rebirth after almost essentially falling away dead. Superkarts USA, Tom Kutcher coming in, picking it up. And they really are keeping focused on the grassroots level, which I think is key, especially for the West Coast countries, or West Coast states, rather.
Yeah, you stated exactly what I was going to say. It's focused more at the grassroots level, because this isn't your traveling series that it brings all the big teams together. It's a lot of privateers. Yeah, there are some teams involved in it, but it's more of your, as you said, grassroots traveling series that hits. As you said, Gulf Coast Kartways is a grassroots track. Denton, as we talked about earlier, grassroots track. Hill Country Kart Club, another grassroots track. So that's kind of what IKF has kind of turned their focus on, is hitting these grassroots tracks with either not only club support, but to get these traveling programs on the same page with one another.
Yeah, I think we saw it last year when they ran the Grand Nationals in California, kind of the first Grand Nationals for the new IKF. The KPX guys really stepping up to put that event on, but it was focused on 206 and KA100, right? It's that 4-cycle spec program that Briggs has brought in. It's this new 100cc, the new version of 100cc engines that we're working on that have just gained so much momentum and so much excitement. But yeah, good to see the IKF, again, essentially their third program, adding the Can-Am Karting, which is going to be their Pacific Northwest region, KPX, the NorCal region. I'm assuming we're going to hear one in SoCal coming down the line, but of course, moving into Texas, and as you said, David, you brought up a couple of great tracks: North Texas Karters in Denton, Gulf Coast Karters in Katy, Hill Country Kart Club. But they'll be kicking off in the middle of February, 16th and 17th of February, the opening round of the Texas Sprint Racing Series at Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston. One thing, actually, you know what? I was kind of messing around on the computer before I went to bed last night. Boom! I get a message from Garrett Randolph saying, "Hey, the KPX guys are live, announcing the schedule." So I jumped on Facebook Live. A lot of people doing Facebook Live, David, after we did our Q&As at the Supernats. I like seeing that. People are leveraging it. We're going to do a lot of it in 2019 as well. But they rolled out the schedule, and we'll talk to Chris Rossi and Kenny Manchester to make sure that we can get a press release announcing the official schedule for the KPX Championship next year. Of course, that program, Briggs 206 and KA100. But I don't know if it's released yet, but Chris Rossi kind of dropping the bomb that it sounds like the IKF Grand Nationals next year potentially go into the Pacific Northwest.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor. I think that's kind of what with
makes sense.
Yeah, with the association with the Can-Am Karting Challenge up there. I think it has the ability to head up there.
If we have the weekend off, we may need to see if we can go get ourselves a Duffy.
Oh, I need a Duffy.
I'd love one. That'd be fun. I'd love to go up and run Masters. That'd be a blast. So
it'll go great next to my PRI trophy that I earned a long time ago.
That's right. You won the PRI Karting Classic Media Shootout.
It's pretty much the only major trophy I have.
Do you remember who you beat?
Jeremy Shaw.
Jeremy Shaw. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who I just saw. I had no idea. He used to do Champ Car TV.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I had no idea. Like, I knew he was involved in motorsports for a long time, but IndyCar was showing an old Champ Car like race that Ryan Hunter Ray won probably back when he was a rookie or something. And there he was.
Yeah,
a little less gray hair, but
Jeremy Shaw's been around a long time. Veteran journalist. Of course, he runs the Team USA scholarship that sends drivers in F1600 to the Formula Ford Festival and the Walter Hayes Trophy. And man, you look at the list of drivers that Jeremy's put on Team USA, and it's almost a who's who of American karting as well, right? So many of those guys, of course, came through karting and went to run with Jeremy's program. But yeah, you were able to top him at the PRI Karting Classic. That was a great event at the PRI show down in Orlando. So, David, we're going to cap things off here. That's it for the news. Let's have a look at the EKN podcast review, the recent shows that we've done since our last This Week in Karting. Of course, all of our podcasts, once David preps them, gets them up, they're available on iTunes or Google Play. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And if you are already a subscriber, do us a favor. Go on iTunes, go on Google Play, give us a review. It's important for that. It kind of gives us some momentum within those entities. So give us a review. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. David, what have you posted up most recently as a podcast? Of course, everything coming out on EKN Radio first, but after the week or so, you prep as a podcast. What have you got up on the podcast channel thus far?
Well, a couple that we talked about last time was the Industry Insider with Margay's Keith Freber. Obviously, with Daytona Kart Week coming up, the Margay Ignite program is going to be there, so that's a good one to tune in. Our EKN debrief from SCUSA Super Nationals 22, that's been up there for a little bit now, but some of the newer ones that we just posted, Industry Insider with Andy Seisman from Challenge of the Americas and the new California Rock Championship, so that's always good to talk with Andy and listen in to hear what he has to say. And of course, last week's This Week in Karting, not what's wrong with karting, but This Week in Karting.
I'm glad to know that.
From December 13th. So that's also available now in podcast.
I know that we're running out of time with Christmas coming. You're home for a couple of days there. Obviously, the weekend and Christmas, 27th of December, you head down to Daytona for WK Kart Week, but we've got a couple other ones we're going to try to prep up as well, correct?
Yeah, we're going to get the hot seat that you did with Ryan Norberg. We'll get that up on podcast form. The what's playing on EKN Radio right now, Industry Insider with WK's Kevin Williams and Mike Tetreault. You'll be able to listen to that on the way either to Daytona or while you're in Daytona getting ready on setup day. So those will be available probably both on the 26th. We'll just get those right up.
That's a great idea, too, to get that up for everybody. But again, we'll be playing those this weekend as well, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday through Christmas. Make sure you go to the EKN Radio Network if you want some karting content. Those will, of course, be streaming. Coming up, though, as we get ready to cap off this edition of This Week in Karting, again, as I said, David Cole, EKN Live. David and Eric Brennan heading down to Daytona International Speedway for another running of Daytona Kart Week. And it was interesting, David, talking to Mike Tetreault and Kevin Williams. I think Kevin said it's the 45th time WK has been at Daytona. That blows me away.
Yeah, because originally it was just road racing on the 24-hour course. We brought in sprint racing probably 15 years ago now. I think we were at one of the first few that we went to, I think.
Agreed.
So and then obviously you had the dirt program that used to run at the stadium and now runs outside turns 1 and 2 of the oval. So yeah, Daytona has been part of really WK's identity, dating back to I think it was 1974. So
I will say this. One of my claims to fame, at least myself, claim to fame in my career, I have the bumper sticker still that they used to give out. I made the main at Daytona and the dirt track. I made both mains in both senior champ and I think it was a senior champ and Tecumseh, a star champ, running with Todd Miller and his brother Jody Miller. I ran a Phantom chassis, big buggy, qualified 6th in both races. I think I finished 12th and 15th. Awesome. Awesome.
I made the mains on road racing in 96 and 98.
Don't you make the main when you enter? in road racing?
Yeah. But I made it.
There was 100 drivers in senior champ that year, and I qualified on the very last lap. I threw one down and qualified 6th. That's all tires and all chassis. But man, I had a good time. That was so much fun.
That was when you used to could, right?
I used to be fast, Dave. I used to be fast. Continuing with what's coming up, folks. EKN Live, of course, as I said, David and Eric Brennan will be at the Manufacturers Cup Kart Week. Man Cup will be live. Of course, David will be reporting as he can on road race and dirt as well. More on road race than dirt, but we'll give you a little bit of information.
No. It'll be Thursday is move-in day. So they actually are, it's the 28th. The 28th, I'll spend a lot of my day during the road race practice day just to kind of see everybody and hang out. And then that night, I'll probably hit the dirt track and get some social media clips up on photos and little videos here and there.
And we've talked about this, and David still wants to do this. You want to do the triple, right?
I do.
David wants to run dirt. He wants to run road race, and he wants to run Man Cup. I don't have enough I don't have enough weekends right now available even to be down there at Daytona again next year because I'm on the road so much.
Then I can't do it next year.
Well, we got to figure something out because I think that would be absolutely badass to try to run at least one race in all 3 disciplines. I think it'd be kick-ass.
It'd be easy.
What? It would be easy as long as somebody was taking care of all the stuff for you, so you can just go jumping and go, right?
That's what pro drivers do, right?
You are a pro, Dave. No doubt. Again, continuing with EKN Live, a couple weeks after David's in Daytona, I will be heading down to Miami and Homestead for the opening round of the SCUSA Winter Series. Of course, live coverage there on EKN. Big thank you to Cooper Tires for signing back on as our presenting sponsor of our EKN Trackside Live Tour for 2019. Man, dude, 2019. 26 events I think we got scheduled for the upcoming year for you and I, David. It's going to be a busy one for sure.
Always busy.
We're done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us again. Our final podcast of the 2018 season, number 53 podcast for this year. We're planning on doing a lot more next year. Again, we talked about, of course, through this podcast, doing our roundtable. That's something we're going to be looking at for sure. Of course, my new Book It podcast is coming in. We got a good little group of podcasts. Maybe a couple of new ones coming in as well. We hope you're enjoying listening to the EKN Radio Network. We're thrilled doing it. It's a lot of fun. We've had some great interviews through 2018, and a big thank you to those who took time to talk to us here on EKN Radio. David, fantastic year, bud. You're the one behind – what do we call you? The ass behind the glass.
You're the guy behind the glass. Yes.
You've produced all these. All I do is talk. You've produced all these.
Yeah, I have the hard job. You have the easy job talking. I mean, you can talk for hours. And it's kind of annoying, but yes, you can do it, and you do a good job at it.
I appreciate that, Dave. You know what? The rough thing for you is not only do you have to listen to my voice while we do these, then you have to go back and listen to it again when you're prepping.
Yeah, I don't even like listening to my voice when I'm editing, but listening to you over and over again. That's why I keep trying to say we need more voices to do our commercials, because at least then it's not just you all the time.
We'll hook that up for 2019. We'll get some more voices in here. David, listen, bud, have a great Christmas. I know the kids are coming through the door pretty soon. I appreciate you taking the time out before the kids roll in. Dude, have fun. Christmas is around the corner, bud. Couple days off.
Happy holidays to everybody.
There it is, folks. David Cole, and I'll echo his sentiments. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to everyone. We're going to be back on the other side in 2019 with podcast number 1, as we aim to potentially do about 100 in 2019. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. We appreciate it. We love that you're listening to the EKN Radio Network. We love that you've downloaded the EKN Radio Network app on iTunes and Google Play. Thank you so much. Have a great holiday season. My name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.